snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Tuesday as I'm on my hike, but I just got the on-chain metrics for today showing that over $250,000 of USDT has entered exchanges, and we still have Bitcoin and Ethereum entering exchanges, which means that we could still see a potential sell-off for Bitcoin below the $34,000 level, and the S&P 500 right now is just about to break its consolidation lows. It's yet to do so, which is why I needed to get this update out to you, regardless of the fact that I'm on a hike about to climb a mountain today. This is an extremely important update, snipers. Let's just hop straight into the charts and talk about what to expect. None of this has been a surprise, as we weren't able to hold 38,000 US dollars, which we all know was the most important support level, with an extremely bearish weekly candle close. Notice how Bitcoin is showing a lot of correlation to the schematics that the S&P 500 is currently following. And why is this important? Well, the S&P 500 does look like it's ready to potentially form further lows, and if that's the case, that would put Bitcoin in a position to break a very big macro structural support level, which is why we are extremely cautious right now. We've been shorting altcoins for those inside of the Discord, because we're also seeing some fear in the cryptocurrency market, which means a lot of altcoins will move into Bitcoin in that case as a potential hedge against downside. And so this is no surprise for those that have been tuned into the Snipers channel. Once again, 38,000 was an extremely important level, and we have 36,500 and 34,788 just below those levels. Now, the most important thing to watch right now for Bitcoin is going to be when the S&P 500 potentially breaks its recent consolidation lows. That is when I expect Bitcoin to potentially also see further downside below 34,788. Why is this going to be significant in the macro? Well, we potentially could see a bottom here after a break of this recent consolidation low, where we fill the CME gap at 32,930. Our next CME gap is right around the $24,000 to $25,000 level. If we break this extremely important support level here, and this is a macro structural support at 34,788, just realize that the range that we start to play in becomes extremely large, which means that we can expect a lot of volatility between a support of 25,880 with a resistance of 34,788. We do not want to see this scenario play out, but I have to put this on the table, because on the Snipers channel, we've been making videos on Bitcoin every single day for the last 5 years. Even when Bitcoin was at 1,000 US dollars, we were making videos on Bitcoin. It reached 20,000 US dollars, and we continue to make videos on Bitcoin. And then it came all the way down through a bear market to 3,000 US dollars, and we still made a video every single day. And then we made a video every single day up until we hit 69,000 US dollars. So we've seen it all here on the Snipers channel. This is no surprise to those that have been tuned in. And as I mentioned yesterday, bear markets bear fruit, while bull markets are bullshit, right? I'm not going to say the word, but that's just the fact of the matter. I've heard that from some of the largest Bitcoin hodlers in the world, some of my great friends like Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano. If you haven't watched my interview with him, link is in the description below. But we have the #1 Discord community in the world, and we've been monitoring Bitcoin's price action day to day, and it's quite clear right now that we're seeing a lot of bearish price action right now in the S&P 500, causing Bitcoin to sell off. But it's still holding up strong against other assets like PayPal and tech stocks. And so we know it's still an extremely bullish asset. Even positions from a year ago are still in profit. Maybe if you have entered the market over the last year, that may not be the case for you. But just realize that at this point, this yellow line that I have on my chart, 19,798, is the previous all-time high from 2017. I do not believe Bitcoin will reach that level. And if we see the most amount of downside, a capitulation, an asteroid coming and hitting Earth, that would be the 200-week moving average. And it's not a surprise that Bitcoin is showing confluence here. We actually finally got the 200-week moving average now above the previous all-time high, which I think is extremely important. And so the one positive we can keep on the table at this point is that there could not be downside below the $19,798 level if we saw an all-out capitulation for those bears that want to see that. Of course, I'm a Bitcoin bull, and I'd say that we'd find support potentially around the midpoint of this range if we break 34,788. For those that have been tuned into the Snipers channel, part of our analysis has always been these exact price ranges, not like other analysts that give you boxes and large price ranges. We give you the exact price levels. And so what we do know for sure is that the midpoint of any range typically will act like support. So we could say that maybe the $30,000 level is the midpoint of this range, where we may start to see some volume come in. And realize this, we've already seen institutional volume come in here below 34,788. That's clearly defined not just on the daily chart, but on the institutional 6-hour time frame that we monitor here in the Snipers channel. It's not the only time we've seen institutional volume come in. Notice how we've seen institutional volume ever since we came down below 34,708 multiple times. It's the first time we've seen this actually since Bitcoin topped out at 69,000. Before that, it was all institutional sell pressure. And so the same way that we saw all of this institutional sell pressure before we got to these lower levels, I expect this area to also bring in more institutional buy orders. And so we have to realize that if we break this macro structural support here at the $34,788 level, that would potentially bring Bitcoin into this extremely volatile range where we could first find support around 30,000 US dollars. And at that point, we have to reassess the situation, look at how the volume comes in, and of course, how the S&P 500 is also reacting, because there's several ways this could play out, right? We could either see a lower low form from 34,788, or we can even see potentially even lower price levels where we see a capitulation in the bottom right around this range here of 25,880 and 23,795. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm a Bitcoin bull, and do I think that we are guaranteed to see this scenario play out? Absolutely not. And I say that because number one, the S&P 500 has yet to break its recent consolidation lows. And so we still have some hope. We still have some hopium, I guess you could say. But I'm not going to just give you hopium like Michael Saylor does. But listening to Michael Saylor is certainly like smoking a lot of opium, right? I mean, it's never a bad idea to listen to Michael Saylor when you're feeling down during these times for the cryptocurrency market. But with that being said, I'd rather not smoke anything. I'd rather just stick to my strategy with Bitcoin dollar cost average at these lower prices. I think that we're seeing accumulation levels at this point, as I've been saying here on the Snipers channel. Let's address the 4-dimensional revolving parts, and then I have to hike a mountain in shorts today, no shirt, with Mr. Wim Hof. It's going to be one of our final days here at the winter expedition, and so I'm going to go eat breakfast and then go from there. So I do want to talk about some 4-dimensional revolving parts, Snipers. The reason the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart right now is so important. Oh, by the way, just to give you the bullish case, because we always address the bulls and the bears, just because we're in a bearish trend doesn't mean anything. If we get above 38,000 at any point, that's going to be the first confirmation that we're going to see a slowdown with this downside. But until we can get above 38,000, we have the weekly open there, the monthly open there. That's the most important resistance right now for Bitcoin. So the range that we're in with a resistance of 38,000 and a support of 36,500 currently. And then of course the make it or break it at 34,788. But remember, we've already cleared the order books in this range. Same as the S&P 500 down in these lower areas. We've cleared the order books here. So that's why I'm putting this bear scenario on the table with a little bit more decisiveness, because obviously we have to address it if it's on the table. And then when we look at international markets, we're seeing quite the sell-off with all of these markets, but Japan has yet to form any further lows. It's yet to break its consolidation lows. So that's why that hopium is still there, that we just form a higher low. But right now it does look like it wants to test those levels, potentially even lower. And I know there's a lot of narratives that people attach to this price action, like Ukraine and Russia, or let's say inflation. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be a narrative attached to any price action. I say that all the time here on the Snipers channel. Technical analysis is black and white. The narratives are always just rainbows that people put out there. They don't really matter as much. Euro 100, just to note, did break its recent consolidation lows already. And so that's one big sign of weakness. So we have two bearish puzzle pieces right there so far. The on-chain metrics showing tons of Bitcoin and Ethereum coming onto exchanges and a lot of USDT leaving exchanges. That's not a good sign for the immediate short term. Gold is moving up, which is a sign of institutional fear. This is an $11 trillion market, not like Bitcoin right now, which is around $1 trillion. So this right here shows real institutional fear not just in the cryptocurrency market, but really in traditional markets. And with that being said, there's not much else going on with the revolving parts of the market. I will say that the VIX is starting to move up, but it's it's staying above its monthly open. One confirmation we could look for to stop seeing downside is the VIX getting below 24.90, because that could calm things down. But we've yet to see that. We moved above this monthly open, we've held it. And so if we see another push to the upside, that could bring in a lot of volatility. But, you have to remember, guys, especially here on the Snipers channel, we love being bullish when everyone's bearish, and we love being bearish when everyone's bullish. You want to buy into the fear and you want to sell into the greed, as some of the best investors say. And so always remember the fundamentals of investment and trading, and realize this: you have a long-term portfolio, you have a swing trading portfolio, and you have a day trading portfolio, which you can use some margin in. Those are the three ways to handle the market. These are the times where in your margin portfolio, if you're shorting, you want to be in and out of those positions. You don't ever want to short an asset as the way that you long an asset. Shorting is a lot different than going long. And so we've taken short positions on our Discord, but always remember, it's inherently more risky because there's unlimited downside when you short versus limited downside when you're going long, because an asset can go as high as it wants, but it can only go down to zero. And then number two, for those long-term positions, you dollar cost average, and that's in spot. And you never sell those positions. You never can predict the exact bottom, but what you can do is, with Bitcoin at 50% discount, 60% discount, 70% discount from its premium, the highest price somebody has been willing to pay for Bitcoin, those are the times that you want to accumulate assets that you use. What I tell people all the time is, when you see fear in the markets the way we're seeing now, and you see PayPal down 60%, go write a list down of all of the things that you use in your life. If you have an iPhone, write down Apple. If you use Uber, write down Uber on a piece of paper. If you love Bitcoin, if you think and you believe in the decentralization of the financial system, if you believe in those things, write down Bitcoin, write down your favorite companies, the ones that you use, and start dollar cost averaging into those. And then with your swing trading portfolio, when we see sideways price action, when those days come that we see 10, 20% downside, those are the times to enter into positions. You can even go a little bit stronger into those positions. And then when those bounces come, those 10, 20, 30, 40% bounces come, the same way when Bitcoin first tested 33,000 US dollars and we got into a position and then it came all the way back up to 45,000 US dollars, you take your initial capital out. Guess what? All that profit, all that Bitcoin is free for you. And so that's how you take advantage of these types of markets, these sideways markets, right? So I can go even in more depth. If you have questions, post it on the Discord, discord.gg/profits. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/snipers. And with that being said, I have to get up, get some breakfast. With that, that is all we have for today. The DXY is still quite calm, and there's not much else to cover. I'm going to go on this hike today. Wish me luck, snipers. Thank you all for tuning into the channel today. I appreciate each and every one of you. I couldn't do this without you. Remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support this content once again. And until next time, snipers,